Today we're going to look at how to turn a photo black and white using Photoshop. But before we do so, we want to remember a couple key concepts. We want to ask ourselves if this is a good conversion method. Is it destructive? Am I actually changing the information on the original file I'm working with? Is my process non-destructive? Am I just adding information and not actually destroying any of the original data on the photo? And is there sufficient detail? I'm going to look at the highlights and the shadows when I make the conversions. There should still be texture, and the highlights shouldn't be blown out and flat white, and the shadows shouldn't be purely black. If they are, this conversion is not necessarily ideal. I'm going to provide you with a link on Sesame, and it's going to take you to a website that shows you 7 different ways to turn an image black and white. You want to select a photograph that has enough shadows and highlights so you can actually see the differences with each of the methods. The first one is grayscale. It is a destructive method, and I'm going to show you how I did it. This video is speed ramped a little bit, but it's pretty easy. You're just going to go to image and mode and go to grayscale. You want to make sure you're saving each of your images so you can compare them later. Make sure you're titling it appropriately. So I'm calling this grayscale cat, and I'm saving it as a JPEG. Now, instead of opening a new file, I'm just going to undo what I've done and go back to my original image and then use the next method. You don't have to do all 7 methods I've shown here. You just need to pick 3, but you can take a look through this to see the different methods and the different outcomes they have. Some of them are a lot stronger than others in terms of their ability to be controlled. So I can really control the highlights and the shadows. Other ones, not so much. It's just a click and it's done. So take a look through here before you make any decisions. You are going to pick 3 different methods from the website, and then you're going to compare these using a file provided on Sesame as well. Once you have all your images done, you only need 3. You're going to open up the file that I've included, and you're going to put the original image on the far left column. And you're going to compare your different images and take a look. Again, keeping in mind, you want to look at the highlights and the shadows. Do they provide enough information? Is there enough texture still? Are they flat white? Are they purely black? These are going to help you decide if it was successful or not. You're trying to rank to see which one is the most true to the original. Remember that some of these methods I could actually control and change, so they may look quite different on your photo. Also, your photo is different. You have different amounts of highlights, shadows, and midtones. So just because I picked a certain method as my most truthful doesn't mean that your image was best in that method. When you've decided which is the most truthful to your original, you're going to place this in the second column from the left. And then again, you're going to continue. You want 2 more images to place in there, but I'm going to support this first. So I'm filling in the prompts below. Explain why you ordered the photographs in this way. I think that image number 1 is the most truthful to the original because I put down the shadows within the eyes are preserved, and the areas where there are highlights in the original are also preserved in the converted image. So I was looking at both the highlights and the shadows. Some of the other images are too bright or too dark in the highlights and shadows.